What is up, Watch Geeks? Welcome to our second video series. This one's called Watch People and Wine, where people, aficionado or not, talk about watches that mean a heck of a lot to them over wine or any kind of booze, I guess. Our first guest is my dad, Rolando, and he's going to be talking about his GMT Master II, a watch that means a hell of a lot to him and me. Enjoy.
Yeah. I'm Rolando Zeron, and this is my GMT Master II. I have no idea what reference this is. I didn't really know too much about watches before getting this watch. An Omega Seamaster that my father bought for his father back in 1971. Didn't stay in Honduras very long. In fact, when my grandfather died the following year, my father brought that Omega Seamaster back home, and I still remember to this day the red box with the raised Omega lettering. After that, I remember my dad buying an electronic watch with some red numerals purchased on layaway, and we'd go every week to put $5 or $10 down for this watch, and finally being very happy the day that we were able to bring it home. And he sported it. He was very proud of that watch. I found this watch actually in Bermuda. The first time I saw it and was able to actually hold it in my hands was in Bermuda. I was with my partner. We skipped out of one of the sessions, and we took a ride to the Little Switzerland duty-free shop. We were determined to buy these watches because the prices were great. We were on the verge of doing it, but we knew we'd get our asses kicked by our wives if we came home with Rolexes. But I was determined to get one of these watches.
No,
so maybe stay right there.
Okay, cool. Oh, it's fucking nasty.
When I got back from Bermuda, I was turning 40 in December, a few months after. Little did I know that my wife had worked many hours as a substitute teacher and had saved all her money to get me this watch, this GMT. I don't know how she found out that this is the watch that I wanted, but she figured it out, and I was so overwhelmed and overjoyed to open up that green box. My Rolex, my 40th birthday. I had no idea that I had a GMT, that I was given a GMT. I just knew that I liked this watch. The black dial and blue and red bezel. Years later, my son gets into watches and he starts, telling me what a special piece this watch is. But for me, it was always about the color contrast off the black dial. And it turns out this is one of the best timepieces that Rolex makes. As you can tell, my bezel has faded. The blue is still pristine, but the red is turned pink, almost like the rosé that I just finished. The fading of this bezel almost made me get a new one that was truly red and blue. So I took my son to Tourneau in Manhattan. I wanted to see what it would cost to get the bezel replaced. Now Tourneau was happy to exchange that bezel, swap this one out, keep the old one, and put a ceramic one for, I think it was like $500 or $600 to do that. To be honest, the only thing that kept me from buying it or making that transaction was the cost. I was too cheap to do that. Now I realize that that was one of the best moves I never made. For me, I still love the heft of the bracelet. It's what brings me home, and that's when I really feel like I'm really wearing Rolex. I love the way it looks with the stainless bracelet and a suit. It's not ostentatious, it's not overly big. It just commands attention, and it says power. Obviously see people that do have a couple of bucks and they go out and buy these big ass watches. In fact, some of them look like they're wearing, Flavor Flav's watch on their wrist. That should be on his chest. But bigger is not better. Some of the watches that I feel are, I don't know, I'd say douchey. These monstrous Breitlings, they to me speak more of being a rapper, more so than working for J&J or Bayer. I do have a couple of watches on my radar. One in particular is the Nomos World Timer. That is a badass watch. I know that it's well made, that they do pay attention to detail. They don't circumvent quality. I would consider it almost like a boutique wine, a very small production winery, you know, where there's a lot of hand labor involved. I see Nomos that way. It's the little guy fighting the big giants, but putting out great product. I've been asked, why would you spend $6 grand on a watch brand that you don't even know? It's the same reason that I bought a pair of Crockett & Jones loafers. Not a lot of people know about Crockett & Jones, but yet they stand for quality. So it doesn't matter what other people say, it's what I like. And I, quite frankly, I'm a seeker of being ahead of the curve. I want to find that next great thing before someone else does.
It's a good photo.
I know a lot about wine, and I'm passionate about wine. I'm passionate about the people that make the wine. I got involved back in 1998. Took a couple of courses in Manhattan, and I got a certification from the Wine and Spirit Education Trust of London. It was the most fascinating study that I've ever done. And to tell you the truth, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing today, I'd be living in the wine world. I am a lover of Spanish wine, French wines as well. I love the barnyard smell of old world wines versus the fruit-forward new world wine. I love the good smell of an old barn in my glass and that restrained fruit. Year in and year out, Borsal Garnacha from Spain. That is a great wine. Tres Picos, the higher label, for about $12 to $13, gives you an incredible amount of wine. It would be a Vega Sicilia Unico. Okay, it's complex, it's balanced, it's got grace, but power as well. But yet, its best years are still ahead of it. Not bad.